Welcome back on San Diego People. Today we are paying tribute to our troops during this Military Appreciation Month, and we're looking at the important role in this segment that women are playing in the war, including female engagement teams. And back with me to share her insight is Ensign Amy Forsythe. Women in combat, I don't want to say it's new. It's relatively new, isn't it? In terms of being on the ground, carrying a weapon, and doing that job. How do you see that working?
Well, women have been integrated into the military for some time, obviously, but now more so than ever, women are being called upon to play specific roles with their male counterparts. And so what we've seen as of lately, the past few years, is that women are being asked to partner with male infantrymen and going out and engaging the women in the community, whether it be in Iraq or Afghanistan. And so we've seen women just really step up to the plate, and not just on the ground there, but in other areas, especially in the Navy, now with the submarines. 15 years ago, it was being on ship. And so just seen so many milestones just in the time that I've been in the military, from when I joined in 1993, and the span of almost 20 years, some great progress. And I've seen it just unfold in the past few years.
And partially the push, I would think, is the nature of the conflict. In Iraq and Afghanistan, it's very important to win the hearts and the minds of the people, and many times those families are run by the woman.
Well, that has been the case, and the feedback is well, we need women to work with these other women to gather information and find out ways that we can help them the best. And so by engaging and training female Marines and female soldiers and service members is to take upon that role and really augment and play a critical role in the successes there.
I just want to show a little bit of that. We're going to have a quick look now at some women on the ground. This is in southwest Afghanistan. You're just going to be able to kind of look and see what they're doing here. This is, they are caught in the middle of a war, and let's just listen and see what they do.
Oh, English. English. English recovery cover.
The bone hurts.
The bone hurts.
Where are your parents? Your mommy and daddy.
My brothers, my woman, my sister, my mother.
Your woman?
No.
No woman.
Sir, since you're the man of the house, I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions for census. Just
America? Za? America za?
You're very welcome. Yeah, a little homecoming at the end. Those are always, I always say that's unique to San Diego. It certainly isn't, but we seem to think that here. I noticed in that video, the women who are on the ground, the topics that come up are really important. Things like family and medicine and children. And you know, we think traditionally of that being the woman's role, but basically it's the family role. And in a war zone like that, it's also information, isn't it? You're gathering information.
Well, I think that's what has formed these female engagement teams, is to maybe just find out what's going on out there, how can we help, and relay that information back to the higher headquarters. And so they found just a specific need out there, and that where women can engage and participate on the ground. And it really is just a culturally unique experience for those young service members, 18, 19, 20 years old, to be thrust into that position. I think it's something that they will never forget.
The one thing that occurred to me too is that they sounded like negotiators. They sounded like someone who, even at the United Nations, where you go in and you start talking to people who are different than you, but you're the one that's learning, aren't you?
Well, my early days I was in Afghanistan in 2003, and that was a completely unique experience. That was my first time overseas, and so didn't really know how to approach it, but learning from them was just as important as them learning from me. And so there was a negotiation going on. There I was in Iraq in 2006.
Nice outfit, by the way.
Afghanistan there. But really seeking out the women because they can see that I was a female, and there was definitely a sense of, you're a woman, I'll reach out to you, I will tell you things.
Is there a trust issue?
Definitely, definitely. And that way they can build trust with people. And so that was just a great experience. And I knew the power of being a woman was not a negative thing to be in the military. And so once young girls in Afghanistan or Iraq could see me, and I'd take off my helmet and show them that I wasn't a man, they would say, come with me into the kitchen, or come into the house. And I was always invited into the kitchen with the women. And so it was just more of a bridging the cultural gaps and say, I'm here to help you. It's okay. What can we talk about? What do you need? What's going on here? And so those are the early days, and I'm so glad to see now that the female engagement teams are much more organized. The women are trained for the mission, but in those early days, that was really what women in the military wanted to do if they felt that they could fill that specific need.
And appreciating our military, then, you take that one step further, and that is all of that gravitas, all of that wisdom that you gained on the ground over there, you brought back to San Diego. You brought back to wherever you end up being, to your own families and your own friends. And that's really what makes our community better, isn't it?
Well, in those early days, people would want to know, what's it like over there? What's going on? What are you doing? And by now, my parents are used to it. My friends and family are used to that. But it really was an opportunity for me to share with the community where I lived in Oceanside. In fact, I even had a photo display up at the local library and at the community center to show people what the faces of Afghanistan and faces of Iraq looked like. And so that was my way that I can just share with my neighbors and people that lived there, supporters of the military, what people are doing and who are we helping? Who are the people affected by what's going on?
We only have a couple minutes in this segment left, but I want to bring up one separate topic, which is kind of connected, and that is humanitarian missions by the military. We just saw recently, after the tsunami and the earthquake in Japan, the Navy, the Ronald Reagan, that was one of the first ships on the scene representing the United States. The Marines were there as well. Obviously, the military, in addition to fighting the war on terror and other conflicts around the world, the humanitarian missions are extremely important, aren't they?
Well, humanitarian missions are something that we train for, and so Americans can be very proud of that work. It may not always get recognized or documented, but there's certainly a lot of humanitarian work going on year-round, all over the globe, at any given time. And so if military members can be a part of that, they can see and feel that what it feels like to give, and being able to extend and outreach, extend to people less fortunate. And so part of being in the military, having that life-enriching experience to be able to go help someone, give a box of clothes to people. 2 years ago, I was in Romania and for a short deployment, and so I had that opportunity to go into the villages and watch how service members were providing medical exams and eye exams and eyeglasses to people, and I had family ship boxes of clothes over to the kids and being able to share that with them. And it's a tremendous asset that the military does year-round, all around the globe at any given time.
That's the military, too. All right, still ahead here on San Diego People. We're going to take a closer look at our military community here in San Diego and continue our talk with the ensign. We'll be right back.